Right, we've got the little two board. Yeah. It's open. Okay, we must have got home. This is important. Do we think, yeah. We both said you should do it, not it? We can sing happy birthday. I'll see you. All right. Very privileged. Make it 70, Roxy. Hi. You're privileged to make it to 70. I think I was.
You're 70, John. Thank you. Well done, mate. Well done. Doing a good.
Maker's mark.
Hey,
Maker's mark.
pick that one up.
Yeah, what am I going to?
Right to the 70.
Yes,
70s.
definitely, happy birthday.
Morena, koutou, I'll open the meeting. Gonna be probably finished before 1 o'clock, so no lunch today. And I'll hand over to Councillor Kimura.
Karaki this morning. He honori, he maina rana ki te whenua i whakaro pai ki nā tana ki tō. Anga e te atua nā kai hau, i roto ki tēnā ki tēnā o mātou. Kungia tu warua tapu, te awhina, e tūru tūri o mātou i roto i tēnā i rao, kororia ki tūngu tapu. Āni.
Āne. Thank you for that. Any apologies today? None received. Any declarations of interest in today's meeting?
No.
No one in the public forum, but we do have media here today, so welcome along. I'll move on to page 4, confirmation of the meeting. Pretty much. I'll move this if I can have a seconder, please. Any matters of correctness, anyone's? All those in favour? Okay, thank you. On to page 15. It's an extraordinary meeting. Monday, 10th of March. I'll move this one if I can have a seconder, please.
I don't see that.
That is the correctness of me, I think. Good one. Okay, can you vote? All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried 50. Page 17. And it's for the Performance and Delivery Committee meeting. On to December. I'll second that. Matters of correctness in
No, I think a lot of we address.
all those in favour?
Aye.
Thank you. Page 20, minutes of the Risk and Assurance Committee meeting. I'll move this if I can have a second, please. Receiving these minutes. To the vote, all those in favour, receiving these?
Aye.
Against, carried, thank you. Oh, sorry.
I just want to highlight people that these audits that we're going through and costing quite a considerable amount of money and time and resources. And it seems that sometimes we are doubling up on things. So we've had the long-term plan audit, and now we've gone into the annual plan audit. And it seems to me that we're getting audited and audited and audited. Some of the stuff is going over previous audits, which seems to me complete and utter waste of resources when it's already been done. And it should only be audit on that haven't been.
I don't think you'll get any disagreement from any of us.
I think we need to do something in relation to this, because the council staff be doing bucket load more stuff, more important. Not to say that we shouldn't have audits, because we should, but it just seems to me that we are doubling up, and it's all we are doing is basically in a cycle of audit, instead of actually looking at what have we achieved. Yeah, fine, get that. But we're auditing in some cases, I think, for the sake of auditing. And to me, that's just
Again, no disagreement for us. I mean, something we have to, we have
to do something about that. We should make some representation or something to.
Yep.
Bring that up.
and it's not only the cost, it's the time that's spent by such a small team.
It's the resources as
Yeah,
well.
the resources.
It's just, that's time is money.
Just about auditing audits.
Well,
That's our
they
bad.
do get audited too, so.
Yeah.
We're keeping the whole industry in employment.
All right. Take that on board, and we'll do something about that later on too. We put that. So, on to page 25. West Community Board.
And the Raymond Institute.
Good meeting. Positive stuff coming out of it. Is there anything on the highlight on this?
I was probably, no, it's probably more the end of it. What came from the meeting was particularly in the notes, because it wasn't part of the meeting, but I just wanted to a big thank you to Coast Community Board member Lynn Steele, who made it on their plate as part of the submissions hearings, plus the Coast Community Board.
It was actually a bit of an honour to be part of the people to be able to speak to me, because people didn't get that opportunity. So yes, you did very well. Any questions? I'll put that to the vote.
I'm sorry, can I just ask the general business discussion? What was that about?
The treaty principle. What is?
Yeah, the one below that one. Yeah.
We will just, so we had the submission, the appellants for the local government hearing. That what you're talking about?
Yeah.
That was in the afternoon. So we just had a discussion what was happening. So just advised them that to enough, but yeah, put in the appeal. Those are really good meetings come along. If anyone gets a chance to come along. And, yeah, these are just, it's always good to be part of that discussion. Everyone's welcome to come along to that. Is that all right? All in favour? Okay, Terence, thank you. Move on to page 30, the Merrill report. The 28th of February, that down in Wellington, a lot of the discussions were on what you just raised about audits. Just about every council was complaining about the same thing. So it's an industry-wide problem, And I think it's something that we as a group need to be, yeah, raising it with the new local government minister. That was, reoccurring, that it was just on everyone's mind down there. Yeah, was quite a topic to talk to people about. Just, I'll move this one on for a second if I can. Any questions on those meetings?
How many citizens were the citizens hearing?
Do a heap, so.
I'm getting heaps, eh?
There's a good one.
Got another one coming up probably later on.
That's a bit few and far between before, and now we're getting heaps.
A few kids and stuff.
Population explosion.
Some, it was two families.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
No, good.
it was a very, it was
It's
a
all good. Yeah.
very enjoyable day.
I think we got our youngest one at that ceremony too, didn't we? Yeah. Okay.
It is a very big day for them too, so try and make an effort to come along.
Citizen, yeah.
Right, I'll put that, we've got all those in favour.
Okay,
Thank you. We've got the paper 34. Occupied plan change. I'll move this like a second one, so we can,
I'll second.
and I'll hand this over to the bench.
Thank you.
The purpose of this report is to improve the wide road area. Plan change, project plan, just actual plan, and the communication and engagement plan and technical engagement. I'll pass over to ask the author of this report. And answer questions.
Before I proceed with explaining a brief background of this report, I will consider the report as read. Staff presented this in last month in the workshop with plan change, where the project plan explains to the council how the staff will approach the project plan change, which includes certain sets of deliverables to be completed within a defined timeline. And these deliverables included assessments and engagement with the landowners and stakeholders and developers, and then completing the assessment leads to the revision of the structure plan of the plan change, ensuring that the urban design element is included in the structure plan. Once all this is bundled, this will be taken to the streamlined planning process, where the plan change will be processed by the Ministry of Environment, and from then on, we can expect that if the application is approved, our plan change will be complete, and that can be adopted. In the workshop, we presented to the council that there are two options to approach this plan change. Either we can commission the entire work of the plan change to an external entity, consultant, and they will be responsible for all the works, all the deliverables, and to be completed with a certain defined time. But then there was another option, which was the option 2, where staff will commission only those works to the external entities for which the staff, the council lacks in-house capacity. The other works were to be completed by in this report, we are requesting the council to adopt the report, and we're requesting that option 2 is selected for the staff to proceed, and the streamlined planning process. So we get the approval from the council that the streamlined planning process should be adopted to proceed with that.
Can you tell me, please, what, on page 1417F, development of structure plan area can only occur once solicited bulk services and service upgrades are in place. Can you tell me what?
Page, was it what, whereabouts was that, Tom?
Page 40.
14.
Page 14, currently 17. Applications.
Yes, this is talking about, so once we have the plan change adopted, then, the developer can only, development on this operational plan can only progress once we've got the earthwork and, all the necessary, like, I'm guessing this stormwater, the wastewater, and other services are laid down before we can, start having development about the land.
So this, and who's going to pay for that?
Yeah, so we are in the process of developing a contribution policy. The local government and the church are in the area.
Tried before though, and it was not back. I mean, this is revisiting
Just ask the question, Tom. Just like,
Well, I'm
what's
just,
the
but I'm
question?
commenting on the fact that it's been tried before and it was not back. And I think, well, what worries me is the burden's going to be on the ratepayer. That's the
Yeah,
concern.
we'll have our, when we're ready to, we can have a discussion. We'll just ask the question.
Well, so basically what you're saying here is that it's, and the other question I've got is why is this going down the fast track? When that then excludes the residents in the area from having a say.
So this is going through the streamlined planning process where the minister will have the authority whether he wants to have further engagement with the community if he wants it done. But before that, we have to also show to the minister that we have already done consultation with landowners, with developers, and any parties that is being affected. So that is in part of the project plan where we do the engagements ourselves, and so we have to submit a report to as part of the application, so that the minister can be sure that yes, engagement has been done. But still, if the minister considers there are certain gaps, then he can advise us to carry on further.
Okay. So, what you're saying is that the ratepayers that live up there in their houses will have a say over this. They will not be excluded.
No.
Okay. All right, so that's fine. Something else I
But I just said that iwi and stakeholders are going to be consulted. There might be a chance some of all ratepayers aren't properly consulted with this fast track. But I feel that all ratepayers should be consulted on this.
Yes, so our focus was to have the consultation and engagement with all the parties that will be directly affected. But then if this is to go to a public engagement where to public notice, people are allowed to have submissions and have hearings and deliberations, we can go down that road, but then we'll have to go through the ordinary channel rather than going through the streamlined planning process. So we can opt for the ordinary channel, but then that will just be an extension of certain timeframes that we have.
So, the way I see it, with the infrastructure up Mukutai area will be loan funded, right? The council will loan fund that infrastructure, and that loan will be paid back by development contributions. So overall, there won't be a huge burden on ratepayers. Maybe for the first couple of years, we have to pay the interest on the loan for the infrastructure. But once development starts taking place and we get our development contribution policy sorted, then that development contribution will pay that loan back over a period of time. Am I correct in saying that? That's how we would do it? Right.
We might want
So, but we want to make it clear to our ratepayers that it's not going to be across the board ratepayers that are in front of this loan. It's going to be mainly contributed by development contributions.
Yeah,
that's the idea.
through the chair, I can comment on a couple of things. So the report is about doing the plan change to enable development within the proposed Mukutai growth area. That is going to have to be supported by infrastructure. So there's an infrastructure plan that would have to support that. How that's funded will be a combination of mechanisms. So there'll be a mechanism for infrastructure that has a direct result, a direct need from the proposed development. So that'll be a development cost. There'll be some infrastructure that is a combination of that development, but also servicing potential future development. So then there's a nexus that would be built into the things like our developer contributions plan and developer contributions. So there'd be an apportionment of cost for other developments within the area. The trouble is infrastructure is needed upfront. So there's an upfront cost to that, and a proportion of that upfront cost would need to be borne by the council, and as such would be through a mechanism, as you've mentioned, Barry, such as a loan. So then you get the loan funding to service the shortfall in funding between what the development and what then comes in. And then add to your point, it'll be paid off over time through developer contributions. However, the plan needs to be developed, as and had mentioned, to come back to council for a decision about how that works. So that still needs to be undertaken, and there's a separate tranche of work separate to what's planned here as part of the plan.
Shouldn't we have that? So we know what we're going into before we agree to this?
Well, there will be a range of options that you could do to look at how the infrastructure is funded.
Once this is passed.
This is about providing direction on where growth will go.
Yeah, but once this is passed, then that's basically it, isn't it? We're then, of course, you're in the rock and a hard place. Surely we should know what we're up for, what the cost is, before we go down this track.
That's a decision for you, but the reality is the resolution here is to provide direction on where growth is going to be occurring within your Upper District for the next 50
Well,
years.
yeah, but this report is basically saying, if I read this right, is that we have got to make a decision today to say go ahead, and everything that's in here is basically right. Well, we're going to head, but we don't know what it's going to mean yet. Surely we should know what it means before we go ahead, and then because if the ratepayer is going to have a burden. I mean, we're talking at the moment, we're talking about 400,000, 500,000, which is about 4% rate. I mean, and that, as we know, will always blow out. I'm just saying that I've got no problem with growth. I mean, I'm just saying that if we're going to do it, it shouldn't be, I've always said in every workshop we've had, it should be the developers that pay the cost, not the ratepayer. And it looks like the ratepayer is going to be up for a considerable amount of capital in this, whichever way you look at it. That's my concern.
Your your concerns, any?
Yeah, I know where Tom's going to do with this, but I think like, to be fair, like the ratepayers probably get a bit of a benefit as well if they're not a developer and living in that area. But I mean, I'm only raising the point, I'm not arguing for or against this.
We got any more questions to start?
Yes, I have. Yes, can you
Because
tell me
we'll have a discussion after the questions. So go to the questions.
Yeah,
And then we have
what are the areas? You've got commercial up there, mixed. Yeah,
Like
I think we just go residential. What's the commercial area?
So, as a result of the assessments that we will have, these assessments include, hazard natural hazard, infrastructure, engineering assessments, ecological and geotech. So, and those will feed the structure plan. So once the structure plan is being developed, urban design element will inform which are the best places to have the mixed zone or have the commercial zone. And it will, the urban design element also will explain where the houses are going to be, and the transport assessment will explain what will be the better connection to have and to connect Puketaya with the rest of the rest of the roads. So the whole idea is to have all the assessments and groundwork ready before we can further propose to have development on the land. So that's the answer to it.
So would a commercial entity be something like a retirement village? So that's a commercial operation. So just say, I'm just saying out of left field, someone wanted to build a retirement village on with the old hospital site as for instance. That's a commercial entity. So that covers that particular.
Well, that's the urban design element is going to advise where the commercial places should be. And so once we have a commercial area designated, then any commercial activity can begin.
It's not industrial.
No, I mean, I've got a previous council map here that says there's only one commercial area been identified. That's the other hospital site, which is council. Al's talking about. You know, I mean, if I was a resident up there, I'd be wanting to know if you're going to designate that commercial, what's going in there. It would really worry me. And I think that's my concern. And it's my concern.
Yeah, we'll have the questions
Yeah.
and then we have those concerns. Because, you know, a lot of this depends on too. You can't have this growth up there without major changes to the intersection up there. So you can't have something, you can't start something, you can't have something like this without starting a process. So if this town was to flood, which it could well do, and you've got no alternative, we're going to look like fools. So, you know, at some stage, this is very different to what you're talking about raised last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very different. So if you came to all the workshops, you would actually, you wouldn't have to ask half these questions.
And I wasn't
So, no, and just some of them. So if there's any other questions,
Their
and
last,
then we can have a discussion.
their last proposal, Tom, was sort of like a burden on the ratepayers that lived in Hokitai and Woodlands, that they had to connect. And that was the big issue there. They were forced to connect to the new system, but this one.
And that's correct.
No one's
Of course,
forced.
if a
There's
pipe
no-
goes down
There's no
there,
extra cost other than.
well, there is, because if a pipe goes down there, they're going to be charged half rate for availability, which is basically forcing people to go on. That's another issue, but what we, I know we'll probably go into the discussion, but
You finished with the questions?
right for the start here.
Well, I've got a couple of questions.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Just this reserve fund was got 634K in it. This is going to cost 400 to 500K. Where does that money come from, or is it just sitting there, or?
Yes, through the chair, it's in an existing reserve for these purposes.
So it's from ratepayers.
Already been collected previously. Not sure exactly where it's been collected, but it's sitting earmarked in a reserve fund for.
Just another question, why aren't we doing this? So my thought would be, you really need industrial land to have business in town, to bring jobs for people to buy these sections. So why isn't this industrial land done first or done together as a whole package?
Well, both are being carried out simultaneously. So like we've got the industrial need assessment that we presented to the council in the workshop last week, and we're progressing with that with another assessment. So by the time this will be ready for and to go to the application through the streamlined planning process, or through or if you go through the ordering process, we'll also have everything ready for the industrial assessment. So at that moment, we can decide whether we can couple them together or we can have them.
Would the process be cheaper to have them, to align them together?
We can assess that and see if it would be cheaper. But that's a different activity, separate with separate deliverables and separate resource factors, and this is separate. So we'll just have to juggle and see whether it will cost us more. Or
The real cost man assessment, but different provided plan changes, so but there could be currently see that there might be some efficiencies in terms of what's done.
And can industrial be classed as mixed as well, so you can incorporate it?
I don't think we can classify industrial as mixed. It's a different zone with different rules and code.
But ties in with the spatial planning too, so it all ties in together. So there's three things all working together. And a lot of this is going to require external funding from fixing the road will be the entrance right to Hokitai will be the crucial one. That's not something we can, it's just out of our.
But I'm just trying to get, I think we just need to do it all together to get it all to tie in together to.
And this is feeding on from work that's already been done. So it's not starting from scratch. It's stuff that's.
Currently, we are developing stage, at this early stage, what we're seeking from you is approval of the planning instruments to enable growth in these areas down the track. It's not actually, we're not seeing commitment of, how that growth will be funded at this stage. And it's likely to, be this action process to make it affordable to our communities, and there will be further opportunity for consultation with the community as well.
But yeah, just because if the zone has changed, those rates do not change that property or person until it is developed, is that correct?
I'm with councillor Gibson there. I think the cart before the horse. I think we need to, it's all right.
That's not a question, Tom. That's not a question. That's a discussion for us to have.
When it's when
We're finished with it. Are you finished with the questions? Anyone else with a question? Yeah. Thank you. We're finished with the questions. So we can have our discussion now. Go for it.
I think it's the cart before the horse. I mean, it's all very well having residential area. But if we haven't got any industry in town for people to attract people here, it seems to me that we're doing it around the wrong way. There's a lot of factors in our community that we need to look at, all that sort of stuff. It's still through Pakistani and all that sort of stuff. We've got to make it attractive for people to come here, and jobs will make that attractive. And so I just think that that's the area we need to be looking at first. And if we can cut the cost down by bundling it all together, then I'm all up for that.
I thought we discussed that at the workshop, the last workshop that we discussed
Yeah,
commercial
we didn't see it.
industrial areas for the rezoning of commercial
Yeah, we
to
did.
industrial areas. So that works in progress. So
Industrial
it's happening as we speak.
That should be first off.
it will be.
It's just that this one's come forward first.
So you have a factory, you have all the workers, they know where to live. That's really bright.
Well, no,
We'll carry on.
Jobs, but the same thing, they've got no jobs, have they?
Sorry.
Any job is
I think the problem is this wasn't done 60 or 70 years ago.
Yeah, well, the problem was we missed this in the district plan change. 2016, 17, this should have been all done then.
We're just gonna be a little bit brave, I think, and just kind of let the process happen. But
And it's a very different manner to what you're raising with the hook and tie stuff. We've got reassurances they don't have to join the systems. We're talking about landowners being able to rezone their stuff, so they don't have to do it separately.
People are still.
Have you developed a piece of land in our town?
Yes,
From
I
scratch?
built 2 houses.
No, have you rezoned a piece of land?
No.
No, okay.
But
It's
people-
not that easy.
I know, but that people that are doing it, but what we look like we're doing here is to be the same as the developers and whoever. We're gonna bear the cost.
I
And
don't see that anywhere in there.
Well, that's what it says in there.
Well, that's your view. Anyway,
afraid, Tom, there's no free lunch. It's gonna cost somebody more.
all right, I think we had enough discussion, unless there's another one. Recommendations, thank you for that. Recommendations on page 34 and 35. We can vote for those as they are, and if there's an email, we'll see how it goes. And if someone wants to propose something else, we can.
They're proposing those.
As they stand. We've got to move in a second. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against?
Because it stands.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We'll really move on to round two. Page 107. Re-election. The adoption. And
Good morning, everybody. The report today contains key information and dates pertaining to this year's election. This includes the pre-election report provided by electoral officer Dallas. The pre-election report also notes the outstanding local government commission decision around the representation review, which we're expecting to receive by 14 April. The report today seeks a decision from council on the order of candidate names and voting documents. It also provides to council the pre-election policy for adoption. The pre-election policy outlines the protocols that elected members must follow during the pre-election period. The report also provides the election protocols for staff, which are the protocols that must follow during the pre-election period. Happy to take that report as read and answer any questions.
Any questions?
No.
More me with the alphabetical or whatever.
The numerical,
Hey.
to age.
Just turning different,
So number 4, we have to choose which one we are deciding, so, I think it's best to stick to status quo. If anyone else has got a reverse order, might be quite a good one, but. No, it's status quo, I mean, you might as well. Anyone else got anyone else? It would have been nice if we went waiting until April to May. Everyone happy with it? So the status quo is I, 4I. Is that okay? Alphabetical
Yeah.
order, candidate names. Happy to move, vote on that one. So as it stands in 4I. Is that right?
Yep.
Everyone all in favour?
Yeah.
Against? Is that a yes or no, Tom?
Yeah, I don't mind.
So this decision in April's not going to change anything in this, is it?
Actually,
And like, hopefully we're not voting on something that we don't know what's going to happen. That's the only thing.
well, it's not going to change the order.
No, it's not going to change the alphabetical order, but it's just some of the detail.
Once we receive confirmation from the local government commission on what that decision is, we may have to change the structure of how representation sits currently, but it wouldn't change everything.
That will come back to a council meeting.
Just on
What
that,
would come back, sorry.
it goes against us. The decision goes against what our decision, democratic decision been done. Have we the right to appeal it?
Through the chair, no. Whatever the commission's decision is
Well, it's final. We can't appeal it. That's ridiculous.
through the chair, we'll wait for the outcome, then we can have, whatever. What the outcome is and what it means. Unless it is articulated in the report that there is the decision still pending. Which then some of the documentation would need to be updated just to reflect what the new representation arrangement.
Would that be an extraordinary meeting? Have to come back in urgency?
I can get some feedback from Dale in terms of what the requirements are for council to have to adopt or otherwise, the local government commission decision. So we can come, if a report has to be brought back, we can do that.
The timeline's getting very, very tight for. Thank you for that. Fingers crossed.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll vote on it, all in favour of that, and it's all right, all in favour? Thanks, Kerry, thank you. One, three, nine. Popular statement, I'll move this, if I can a second, Gibson.
Thank you, Worship. I'll take the report as read. Just standard practice to bring the statement of intent for Bocklass to the council for adoption or for comment, any amendments, and also attached to the report is the half yearly update. I'll just highlight a couple of items in the half yearly update. Bocklass has been highly successful for us, particularly in procurement space and joint procurement outcomes. And as per the highlights, updating of the cybersecurity management and our ability to retain cyber insurance cover. And then also our insurance renewals is a good example of the effectiveness that Bocklass is providing us in that space. Becoming more and more challenging to get cybersecurity insurance cover, and also getting insurance, particularly in this case where we've actually had some reductions in premiums, is a really successful outcome. So just one.
Any queries for?
What's the portion of the contribution?
Pardon?
What portion is their contribution?
On the top of my head, I'll have to come back to exactly what the figure is. Our, as presented previously, the returns that we get from our contribution is significant. So we get, for example, we've had since the beginning of the period, which was in 2008, I believe, we've had over $1 million in savings, estimated savings. And our contribution is a fraction of that. But I'll come back to it with the exact number. So the estimated savings for us just for 2023-24 alone, 254,000. The problem, I think it's 27,000.
I'm happy with option one. Thanks. Thank you. We can take the vote. I'll move this, so second, please.
Thank you, Worship. I'll take the report's read, just a couple of highlights. It was great to present to Quayside Holdings. So Quayside Holdings is the investment arm of Bay of Plenty Regional Council, being highly successful in their business for the Regional Council in terms of getting returns to offset rates. We've got to explore opportunities to get alternative income streams. So I presented to Lyndon CE there and his team just on an update of where we are in terms of our district and our future, particularly around agricultural development and the like. Really looking at a possibility of partnering with the likes of Keyhold into the future to look at alternative income streams for the council to help offset rate. Very early stages, just to meet and greet, get a connection. But it's something I'm looking forward to continuing to explore. The other highlight I'd like to draw your attention to was Workwell launch. We've introduced the Workwell initiative within the council, which is a free initiative which helps enable awareness of well-being within the workplace. And it was awesome to kick off the event with staff on the 27th. Had a huge turnout, which was fantastic. Even postal RRC workers who were quite remote managed to make it to the kick-off event. And it's really important to have healthy, happy, engaged staff. And it was really pleasing to see the turnout and the feedback from those who attended has been really positive. So shout out to the team who put in the effort behind the scenes to pull that all together. Yeah, but happy to take any other question.
Thank you for that. Any-
So, just one, when you met with the Collingwood Order, how many more houses did they propose to build down?
Yeah,
Quite a few on the go now.
We had a pipeline of works, yeah, they've been delivering a number of housing outcomes for us over the recent few years in town. They had visions to continue their pipeline of works after this current financial year. However, there's been a significant change in direction from central government and boards. Not immune to that direction, and as such, the vacant land holdings that they had planned to develop on are no longer planned to be developed. They are looking at potentially divesting the land holdings. We are still connecting with them to determine exactly what numbers of houses that means in terms of the future rollout for our district.
Because they're developing at the moment in town, they're developing the old Collingwood housing developments, putting multiple houses into them. So they're going to carry on doing that.
Yeah, there's a number that they're already committed to and will be completed.
But they're not going to do the vacant land ones.
Correct.
The 44?
Right?
Approximately so far.
Yes, a few.
Yeah, so it's a lot higher than
They've got a dozen at least on the go at the moment.
I think the concern here is, of course, that they consent their own buildings, you don't have any oversight. So that's a bit of a concern, so.
I suppose the good thing is we get rates, more rates.
Just staying there. Any other questions? All those in favour? Against? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Then we'll move on to resolutions to exclude the public.
Yeah.
There's no lunch too, sorry, I can't get you back. Thank you for going this way. I'll be there by the second, I show you in a second. All of them photos. Bye.
Oh. Didn't think.